Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. So in this video we are going to be reviewing seasons 1 and 2 of Marvel's animated Spider-Man series. Now I am enjoying this series a lot more than I thought I would have done, especially as I am such a loyal fan to the 90s interpretation of Spider-Man the animated series, and especially after the Ultimate Spider-Man series was just so bad. So I didn't really have much faith in the next interpretation of this franchise, but it's actually really good. It's got really gripping storylines, brilliant character arcs, and the world of Spider-Man and Peter Parker is definitely Spider-Man and Peter Parker, instead of stuffing it into the Marvel world and giving him other characters that aren't that great as they did with Ultimate Spider-Man. So in Marvel Spider-Man, it's definitely Peter Parker and his Spider-Man front and center. They do obviously have the other characters in the periphery, but it's got Spider-Man's world first and foremost, and because of that, it's just such a brilliant kind of interpretation of this series. The visuals could be a bit better, but you can put that to the side because the storylines are so great and the character arcs are so good. So overall, Marvel Spider-Man is a lot better than I thought I would have done. It's a lot of a nice surprise within that space, so I am really looking forward to breaking down why I think it's so great and why I think you should watch it if you haven't seen it already in this video review. So one of the things that Marvel Spider-Man gets done right from the beginning is balancing both Peter Parker and Spider-Man really well throughout the series. Both of these characters are great in their own right, and the fact that this show balances both of them is done really well. And like I said before, the world is definitely Spider-Man's world of characters, which is really cool, as Spider-Man's world of characters are all really interesting, and it's focused on them first and foremost. Sure, you do have the Avengers and other kind of Marvel characters popping in for the odd episode, but first and foremost is Spider-Man and his world of characters within this show, which is absolutely brilliant. So the first season of this show really focuses on different rivalries. So we first have the school rivalries. So we have Midtown High, Horizon High, and Osborne Academy as the three different high schools that are all kind of in rival with one another. And then we have Spider-Man with his different group of characters with the Peter Parker world as well. So we have, Harry Osborn, Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, Anya, Flash, the Smythes, Osborns, all of these different characters kind of all rivals to one another, and that's a really nice setup. And on top of that, we then have the villain setup of all of their different rivalries as well. So we have Doc Ock, the Vulture, Jackal, the Smythes, Norman Osborn, all of these kind of having different power struggles within the villain world. So that was really interesting to see. So you have those 5 main villains in the background kind of as the villain leaders, and then you kind of have a different enemy in each episode as well being introduced, such as Sandman and Sandgirl, the Venom symbiote, Hammerhead, Kraven the Hunter, etc. So you kind of have undercurrents of each big storyline happening in the background, and then new villains kind of popping in as well. And then on top of that, you have the multi-part episodes as well, such as Spider Island, such as the Hobgoblin series, and the main big one, which I felt was really interesting from a character arc point of view, which was the rise and fall of Doc Ock from being a hero to a villain, and then having an interesting storyline in series 2 with that being continued. So like I said, one of the things that I really liked about Marvel Spider-Man is that it does have a bit of an undercurrent of a bigger storyline happening in the background, which it's contributing towards in each episode, while still introducing new villains and new characters, which are also kind of contributing to the bigger storyline. So from a kind of episode arc and series point of view, season 1 was very strong, both from an introductory point of view, whilst having a really interesting, captivating storyline from start to finish as well. Season 2 didn't start off as strongly as season 1 did, as it had a lot of B-level villains in the beginning, such as Silver Sable, Beetle, Silvermane, Jack-O-Lantern, Prowler, etc. But then again, it quickly kind of fixed that problem by introducing more classic characters such as J. Jonah Jameson, Eddie Brock, having the Superior Spider-Man storyline, having the Goblin War storyline, and having the death of a main character, which was really unexpected, really emotional, really shocking, but a brilliant arc for this particular character across the 2 seasons, which was absolutely brilliant. So whilst season 2 didn't start off that great, it definitely ended with an almighty high and definitely paved the way forwards for a brilliant season 3. So all in all, from a storyline point of view, I really have enjoyed Marvel's Spider-Man. Like I said before, I feel like it's really great that it's kind of got bigger storylines, that all of the different episodes are kind of contributing towards really cool characters, a great world. Nice to have kind of other characters popping in and out every now and again, but it fundamentally is Spider-Man's world. So from a storyline point of view, Marvel's Spider-Man is really strong. The characters of this animation show are absolutely brilliant. The voiceover cast are doing such a good job, and the roster of characters are really strong on this show. They've done what they did with X-Men Evolution in that they've made a lot of the characters a lot younger, which is really great, as they can all interact with each other a lot more, which is really cool to see. So let's go through them one by one. So we have Peter Parker, who is brilliant on this show. Very light-hearted, very funny, very heroic, and kind of has that geeky, nerdy side to him that we all know and love, which is really cool. Harry Osborn went on a brilliant arc in season 1 in terms of being pulled between both Peter Parker and his dad and kind of exploring his darker side. He's not that prevalent in season 2, which is a shame, but you know, in season 1 he was really strong. Miles Morales is in this universe, which is really cool, and he kind of plays Ultimate Spider-Man aspect to his character within this universe, and is a really true supportive ally and friend to both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. We then have Otto Octavius, who is a lot younger in this show, which is really cool, and he goes on a brilliant journey from kind of hero to villain to hero to villain, which is really interesting as well. We have Gwen Stacy in this world as well. Not really as great as her character was in Spectacular Spider-Man, but a really interesting character here as well. And Anya playing Spider-Girl in this universe. A bit annoying, if I'm being honest, with her character, but she kind of makes the Spider group of characters really interesting in this show. Eddie Brock, absolutely brilliant in this show as well. Really criminally underused though, I would say, in season 2. Really cool character, especially when he combines with the Venom symbiote. Absolutely lethal, absolutely brutal. I hope we get to see more of this interpretation of the character in season 3, but looking at the promo material, it looks like loads of people will be infected by the Venom symbiote. So I hope that Eddie Brock and Venom, as those two characters are really cool, get their shining spotlight within the show in the future. But kind of what you do see with these characters on the show is really cool. Black Cat, again, is a bit of a criminally underused character as well. She kind of has one episode where she's kind of in it for a little bit in season 2, and similarly in season 1 she's kind of in it a little bit. Again, I hope that they explore this character a lot in the future as well. MJ hasn't really been introduced at all, to be honest, within this world yet, but she's kind of in the shadows, lurking as Peter's neighbour, so hopefully we'll get to see a bit more from this character soon. Flash as well isn't that much of a bully in this interpretation of the show, a lot more of a bully in the movie adaptation and in previous animation installments, but in this world he's a bit more of a kind of supportive character to Peter Parker and to Spider-Man, surprisingly. Norman Osborn is absolutely brilliant in the first season. He's kind of lurking in the shadows, kind of being the mastermind behind a lot of the craziness that's happening to Spider-Man and all of the different characters actually. So he's really cool, and kind of a bit of a dark figure with Harry Osborn as well. So Norman Osborn is absolutely brilliant. The Jackal as well, not a character that we've had kind of being that prevalent before, but his character was a lot more prevalent in terms of being another big bad and being kind of behind a lot of the bigger multi-part season episodes as well. And similarly with the Vulture, I feel like the Vulture's kind of had a lot more of a heyday after the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, and similarly kind of is part of the bigger multi-part episodes as well. And all of the other villains as well, like Hammerhead, Kraven the Hunter, all of them are really interesting, really good voiceovers. And I was also meant to say with Norman Osborn, it's really funny actually that the guy who played Spider-Man in Spectacular Spider-Man is back in this show and is playing a couple of different characters actually, playing J. Jonah Jameson, playing Norman Osborn. So from a voice cast point of view, it's really nice that they have returning talent from other seasons and other shows kind of playing different characters in this interpretation of the Spider-Man world. And on the topic of great voice actors, the guy who plays Tony Stark and Iron Man is absolutely brilliantly cast, as he does sound a lot like Robert Downey Jr. So Iron Man is played really, really well in this show, and kind of Spider-Man has the same kind of relationship in terms of really looking up to him, kind of seeing him as a role model. So Iron Man isn't in it that much, but in the few episodes that he is in there, he's really, really good. And Cloak and Dagger, they've got the actors from the live-action TV series, so they've got Aubrey Johnson and Olivia Holt lending their voices to Cloak and Dagger, and that is just absolutely brilliant because they really do bring these characters to life, and you really do feel like they're the characters from the live-action TV series, so that's absolutely brilliant. So, you know, I could go through all of the different characters, but all in all, they're really, really cool, and they really do make this interpretation of Marvel Spider-Man absolutely brilliant. From a visuals point of view, Marvel Spider-Man does look really, really good. You know, all the Spider-Man powers look really, really cool. All of the villains look really, really cool. The world of Spider-Man looks really, really cool. All of the different craziness that's happening kind of does make you kind of be enveloped into this world of Marvel Spider-Man. I do feel like that they can push it a bit further though, and I hope in season 3 and hopefully in future seasons that they do push the visual department a bit further. As you know, other animations have kind of been a bit better within this department. That's not to say it's not watchable, I just feel like it can be a lot better. It is really great for what they have there, but I just wish that the visuals are pushed a lot more in future installments of Marvel's Spider-Man. In terms of comparisons, I really, really do like Marvel's Spider-Man. I feel like it's a really great interpretation of the series, great characters, great storylines, and the world is really, really cool as well. So far, I still prefer the animation series from the 90s, just because I felt like that was really, really edgy, really, really cool, really, really pushed the boundaries really, really far. And I feel like Marvel Spider-Man have taken a lot of lessons from that in terms of having, you know, bigger storylines, having crazy villains, having really cool characters that kind of pop in and out, having Spider-Man's world first and foremost. So I feel like they have taken a lot of lessons from there and kind of have modernized it with loads of different technology and loads of different new interpretations of the different characters from the movies, etc. So it is going so far really, really well, but thus far I have got a preference for the 90s cartoon. But apart from the 90s interpretation of Spider-Man, I do feel like Marvel Spider-Man is a lot better than the other interpretations, such as Spider-Man Unlimited, such as Ultimate Spider-Man, and even Spectacular Spider-Man. I feel like Marvel Spider-Man is a lot better than all of those. So in terms of comparisons, Marvel Spider-Man is a really strong animation. So overall, I am really enjoying Marvel Spider-Man a lot more than I thought I would have done, and I'm just really loving the world that they're creating. I hope that it goes on for a lot more seasons, as it is such a good show with so much potential. It's really going to be interesting to see how they kind of build this world even further, how they introduce even more characters, how they have the other Marvel characters kind of popping in and out. And I'm just really, really excited to see what Marvel's Spider-Man Season 3 Maximum Venom is going to be all about. Kind of when the Venom symbiote goes crazy and kind of brings all of the other hosts to planet Earth, and they kind of infect all these other amazing different characters. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this storyline goes further within Season 3 and hopefully even further than that. So for all of those reasons, I am going to give Marvel Spider-Man a solid 7.5 out of 10, as I am loving all of the storylines, I'm loving this world, I'm absolutely loving all of the different character arcs that all of these characters are going on, all these characters that we kind of really know and love in a brilliant TV series, very much needed, a modern Spider-Man series on this TV screen, kind of to complement all of the stuff that's happening on the big screen. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'd highly recommend watching Marvel Spider-Man, as it's a brilliant series that you can watch on Disney+. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.